Welcome to NCAA football. I'm John.
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Josh.
And we're going to we're going into week 4, so we want to do a little recap of week 3 and then hop into the week 4 action. And we're going to start off with, there were some pretty big upsets in this past week.
There was.
And probably the one closest to your own heart, Bobby, would be what happened. We got East Carolina playing Virginia Tech. Yeah,
That's how I feel.
I'm sure of that. I'm sure it is, as well as the entire Hokie fan base.
Because of the Pirates.
Yeah, it was something. So that
my only thought is this: is some teams can show up every week and play at a high level. Virginia Tech showed that they can play at a high level on the road versus Ohio State, but it's a whole different ball game to play that each and every week. Some teams have the capability to do it one week, but not the next, and that's the case for Virginia Tech. So,
any thoughts on that game?
Virginia Tech secondary could not stop the passing game, and that's just what it came down to.
Well, and I think that East Carolina, I think we talked about it. We said that they had the potential. They gave South Carolina a really hard time. There was the potential there.
I think they might be my front runner for the AAC at this point.
Possibly so.
We'll see.
Yeah, and so Virginia Tech, they go on to play Georgia Tech this week.
He's undefeated.
Yeah, they're undefeated, but who have they played?
Except when you have the
And they've
mindset
struggled
of we're
against the
still
teams.
undefeated,
Sure.
Yes.
you still played.
Yeah, and I'm sure that, and of course they're going to go in and want to beat Virginia Tech, but
This game's played at Blacksburg, and Tech has their number recently, but again, anytime you play that triple option offense, you never know what you're going to get. So,
Yeah, except I don't think that Virginia Tech's defensive line and stopping the run game was their problem, so I think they will be able to handle Georgia Tech.
okay. So probably the bigger upset or the bigger surprise game, in my opinion, would be the Boston College
sure. Who saw that coming?
USC game. I mean,
I wasn't even paying attention to the game, man.
Yeah, I mean, we just assumed
Sure.
that of course USC is going to win that game, but no. And
Is it something to do with the West Coast and coming all the way to the East Coast time zone?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Hey, Boston College was fresh off a loss to Pittsburgh.
I think it almost comes down to the same thing you said about Virginia Tech.
Yeah, maybe.
It's just they are not up to that level
Sure.
of being able to compete
Week
week in and week
USC
out.
had just
Yeah.
been in a bruiser
Sure.
against Stanford, so yeah.
Emotional win, big
That's
time
right.
for the program.
Just
Pat
like Virginia
Hayden.
Tech.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
it was
kind
just
of,
like that.
but give credit to Boston College.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
Tyler
got to.
Murphy, former Gator quarterback, he was just running up and down the field.
I would
They
say
really
their
did well.
rushing game was just. I think one of the players almost got 200 yards rushing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of yards.
It is a lot of yards. Okay, and then another, as far as the big SEC, I don't know if you call it an upset.
A lot of people
But-
were calling it.
But South Carolina and Georgia and South Carolina held in there. Once again, Spurrier, has Rick's number.
Yeah.
When you were telling us that this could be a possibility, you're like, Spurrier's not just going to roll over and die.
No.
Sure. Well, you had to look at it. I mean, if South Carolina didn't bring the kitchen sink, their SEC East hopes were gone.
That's true.
They had to win this game. To get 2 games back to Georgia, there's no, there would just have to be a colossal collapse for them to catch up. So.
And once again, this is not a big surprise. This has happened before.
Sure.
We've seen it happen before. And somehow they figure out how to stop Gurley.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
You take Gurley out of the equation,
Yeah.
you've got the game in hand, and they figured that one out. Some minor ones that were in there, Louisville, everybody was expecting them to beat Virginia, and
Of course,
hey,
my most confident game that I picked, and they lose.
yeah, I had a few of those too.
Yeah, I mean, give credit to Mike London and his staff at Virginia. They've really, they gave UCLA a fight. I think they'll be a contender maybe in the Coastal Division.
Mind you, they have a tough game coming up this week, too.
Virginia does.
BYU.
BYU. That'll be a proving ground to me. If they can play with BYU, beat BYU.
Which I won't think would happen because it's 2 tough games in a row.
Sure.
Louisville's already warned them out. BYU
Sure.
should. I'm not saying it'll be a blowout, but they should be able to handle it.
All right. As far as the Big Ten was concerned, you had Penn State and Rutgers, and Penn State held their own against Rutgers.
Penn State.
Not a big win, but
Sure.
they beat them.
Can they go to a bowl game?
No, they can't.
They can't.
They can't.
They
They're
overruled.
well
They
eligible.
overruled.
They overruled. So now this team might be
Are
fired
they
up.
undefeated?
They are undefeated.
Okay. Penn State.
And let's give credit to James Franklin, this new coach. He came out of Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's missing him right now. They're pretty awful.
Oh wow, they're missing him.
But they've got new life. I feel like welcome to the Big Ten Rutgers. That was their first game. They lost 10-13. Wasn't bad, but
That's right.
Penn State's on the roll.
Another one that we talked about. We figured that UCLA would beat Texas
Sure.
without too much difficulty. They had more difficulty than we thought.
It was a fight. It was
Only a 13-10 ball game.
Which we were saying last week that it was crucial for Texas to win this. I think that was good enough that Texas fans can think we can compete with some of the better teams in the country.
It's got to still be
they can't. They couldn't score against BYU, and they couldn't score. I mean, 10 points.
Yeah.
You got to think that their defense maybe isn't so much their problem; it's their offense.
Maybe.
And Texas is just
Right. BYU scored.
And again, they have
That's
no
true.
That's
excuse.
true. That's
They have
true.
no excuse.
That's
Yes.
true.
It's both defense
But could
and
that be
offense.
BYU as well?
Sure.
Again, we'll see when they play Virginia. But and speaking of BYU, wait, I thought
It was
BYU.
a Friday, Thursday
BYU.
game, I
That's
don't know.
right. It was a Thursday
Sure.
game, and they beat Houston.
Yeah. Closer than expected.
Closer in the first half.
Well, they got a really big lead.
Yes.
And then they kind of, I think they got like overly confident, and they just
Sure.
kind of stopped.
Sure.
And Houston took advantage of that, especially with that Hail Mary.
And
And
Houston was looking pretty good, and besides the Hail Mary, I mean, they were actually playing pretty well.
Yep.
I was pretty impressed with them. Boise.
Our defense scored 2 touchdowns. We were, I think, either number 1 or number 2 in the nation with causing turnovers.
Yeah.
We just get a lot of turnovers. We averaged 3 a game so far. That's pretty good.
Those
It looks
Huskies
like
of UConn.
UConn were sticking there
They
with
were
them
trying
for a little
and then
bit, and
that,
then it
pick
just
6 at the end, which they're calling a pick 6. It was more like a strip from
Yeah.
the wide receiver. But
Yeah.
It seemed like UConn though hung with them until the third quarter, and then just the better team, more
I
talented.
felt better because JJ didn't have a good game, and Grant Hedrick was able to
Sure.
step up and throw to Matt Miller every time.
Okay, then we have the Pac-12. Let's go back over to the West Coast. The Pac-12. It looks like the front runner of the Pac-12. Besides Washington, which
Sure.
they're undefeated, but they haven't really been tested. But Oregon, they're rolling.
Yeah.
Me and we were watching this game in the first quarter. Wyoming was up 7-0.
Well, no, actually, Wyoming, they were actually moving the ball.
Sure.
They were. We would watch them move that ball down the field.
Yeah.
It came down to turnovers.
And really,
Like
ultimately, that's what it came
4
down to.
turnovers.
Which it
They
seems
started
like
turning it over.
Oregon's defense is pretty improved. I feel like they played well against Michigan State, so
Yeah,
we'll see how they
they
turn
did.
out.
They did play well against Michigan State.